If you look at just now the one I've summarized it, and one of the things is actually wars and rumors of wars, increasing conflict. And now actually very interestingly, globalization has brought it to our doorstep. We cannot just say, oh, these guys are fighting in the middle, it's none of our business. It is our business because all of us were affected. In a globalized world, if Greece is collapsed or something like that, all of us will be affected, you see. So that's the thing, you see. And actually, if you think of it, this thing is quite recent, I still remember in 1991 only we started having email, Before that I had to study in England, I had to, use telephone, 20 pounds to phone home to my wife or something like that. Email only 1991, you see. So the technology has actually enabled this globalization to proceed very fast, and that will enable some of these things. I think during that time, how can they were thinking, how can the whole world see, how can the whole world be controlled and all that, but now actually it is possible.
Thank you for the question. Major signs. Are there any specific dates mentioned about the major signs? Or something along that line you were summarizing, so I was trying to pick up what you summarized. What I can remember from the hadith, there was a hadith mentioned by Sheikh Imran Hussein. He mentioned about the hadith of the Dajjal, that this Dajjal, when he comes, his days will be like 40 days of our time, then 40 weeks of our time, and then 40 years of our time. So there are stages in this Dajjal coming. First is influences will be coming. Okay, so the influences may be light in the beginning. If it's 40 days, will be like 40. One day will be like 40 days of ours, and then one day will be like what we call it, 40 weeks, and then 40 months, meaning getting closer. But I have not found any what we call this authentic hadith on this. Merely from Sheikh Imran Hussein and Sheikh Rashid Reda in his commentary of the Quran. He says about this Dajjal that what is important for us to know that this Dajjal is for sure, because the Prophet has actually mentioned him, and in many sayings, not just one saying, in authentic sayings. So and the sign of him coming is mentioned, for example, in Sahih Muslim about this traveler who actually met him, this Dajjal. Okay, and he gave signs of his coming, such as the lake Tiberias now, which is still a lot of water there, but receding yearly. It will recede until there is no more water in Tiberias before he will be coming. The trees of Paisan, which is now lush with greeneries, it will be gone. Then he will come. He mentioned several other signs, but to really be able to pinpoint, when exactly that comes, Allah knows best. It is not mentioned to us. I guess the important thing is for us to have faith in this and to be ready for our own death, which is the end of time for us. Allah knows best.
Any more questions? Okay.
Hello, my name is Sam. Sam Kawai, you can call me Sam. I'm EE final year student. So the question that I want to ask is, actually it's not a question. Can say question also. I studied Buddhism and also read a bit about Christianity and also Islam. I'm a Buddhist, so I know every religion is a good religion, and they ask us to do good deeds. But when I study a book called The Law of Attraction, the thing is that when we think that the thing will happen, so the thing will really happen. So this is what is inside the Law of Attraction. So based in religion also, when I studied the Quran, then when I read the Quran, it really touches my heart actually, because 1,400 years ago, how Muhammad will know the Earth is circling in an orbit. So I think we already know the truth. Okay, so I think this is the truth, and what I want to ask is that if I don't read the Quran, how we as non-Muslim know that the truth? Okay, that's the question I want to ask any panel. Thank you very much. Or I can specify it to Ustaz Abdullah. Thank you very much.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I'm trying to understand the question first before I answer. If the question is, how can we understand the Quran if we don't read the Quran? Right? Is that the question?
Yes.
Yeah. Of course, to really find someone who really understands the Quran fully at this time, you cannot find anybody who can do that. It must be nowadays a body of scholars, for example, who are doing a study on the Quran together, because the language of the Quran is pristine Arabic, pure Arabic, that set the standard for the grammar in Arabic language. The first book actually to be written and set the standard in Arabic language. And so to really understand the Quran, you need to go back to those who have made exegesis of the Quran, who have studied and have given translations of the Quran. Nowadays you can find them, you can't really find one person in particular. You have to go to bodies of scholars. For example, in Malaysia, you would have to refer to the National Fatwa Council, for example. In Europe, the Europe Fatwa Council. Or in America, the Islamic Society of North America, for example. So, and the Quran itself, when you want to apply it to the daily life, it has to be contextual. You have to look at the context of which the verse is revealed. What are the principles taught there? Whether this principle is relevant for you at this particular time, or another principle is relevant to you. You know, these determinations are by the scholars. Okay, so you'll be well advised to actually study from this group of people and not just depend on one particular interpretation of the Quran. And in relevance to that, I think this question also, I'd like to just take it quickly. Is it mentioned in the Quran that God created time? Can provide reference? Thank you. You know, when I started to study Islam, when I became a Muslim from my own religion about a couple of years ago, one of the first things that I did was to study the Aqidah, the faith part. And from my reading of the various tafsir, exegesis of the Quran, I have come across this tafsir about the time being created by God. And God says in Surah 54, it says about the Big Bang. أَوَلَمْ يَرِ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا أَنَّ السَّمَوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضَ كَانَتَا رَتْقًا فَفَتَقْنَاهُمَا. Sorry, Surah Anbiya, verse 30. Chapter 21, verse 30. It says, does not the unbeliever see how we have how the earth and the universe was actually one unit of creation, and we split it asunder. What is now called the Big Bang. Okay, so the reference is there, but to be exact which verse, I need to go back to the tafsir, whether it is Sayyid Abu al-Mawdudi's tafsir, or Tahfim al-Quran, or Sayyid Qutub, Fi Dhilal al-Quran, a few other references that I need to go back to, and I can get back to you on the exact reference. I can't provide it now. Thank you.
Alright, how about some questions from the ladies? Any? Alright.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I would like to ask for the Dr. Liping. I'm quite interested about the signs before the end of the world. As what Mr. Abdullah said just now, about the major signs, right? There will be like the major signs, the Dajjal will come before the Jesus Christ of Isa alayhi salam.